Greetings and welcome to Three Way. We're so happy to be here with you today as we explore and to better understand what do we mean when we talk about the dawning and the ultimate arrival of Three Way. For many people will say that Three Way is another Web3 discussion. It's not. If you think that you've come to an event that's guided in prosperity of wealth or how to accelerate and to create the greatest NFT that ever existed, you've come to the wrong event. But if you come to join us to better understand what the defining movement of Web3 is, and to understand best practices for sustainability, when we talk about blockchain and DeFi and DAOs and dApps and cryptocurrencies and assets, if you come here to better understand what it means when it comes to humanity-centered technology and what Web3 can do when it comes to sustainability, then you have come to the right event. There are already other incredible events that will teach you other things when it comes to Web3 and financial prosperity. This isn't that. Because I would submit to you that you cannot spend crypto if you don't have a planet to spend it in. Hello, my name is Christopher Lafayette, founder of GatherVerse. We're so happy to be here with you today. We've assembled a considerable amount of minds that come join us, to journey with us, and to explore and to better understand what we mean when we talk about Web3 and the Metaverse, meaning a virtual ecosystem of communication and interaction. With part of the mission of GatherVerse is to be so focused into bringing thousands of communities into the Metaverse and millions of people into the Metaverse safely, humanely. For decades now, we've put such great emphasis on hardware and software, where we should, which is important and keen. But ultimately, in the next steps of the progress of technology itself, we must consider for whom and why we've built these technologies. If it's solely for financial prosperity, then we've missed the mark. With all that we see that's happening in this world around us, whether we like it or not, it's arrived. With great floods that are happening in this world, droughts, certainly across our land here in the United States, and perhaps even home wherever you may find and call home to be. Great fires and devastation. And with the advent of the pandemic being the greatest disruptor in technology that we've ever experienced, contemporary to our time, I believe that many people are asking, what have I been building and for what? And with the time that I have to build, because we only have so much time for so long to build anything, what are we building and what are we passing down to the generations to come? What might that baton look like? What might that baton be in this new virtual world, this new virtual economy that we're arriving into? Because we have become more virtual in the past 29 months than we have the past 29 years, and we aren't looking back. Remote distributed workforce teams and product delivery teams are still working from their living rooms, transmetropolitan across the world. And we think about the considerable opportunity that we've been imbued with when it comes to communication, which has been the greatest and accelerated development of technology that we've seen over the past 30 years. Now comes an opportunity to look at technology more than just a good for initiative. And let me be very clear, the moniker of doing technology for good or being stuffed between two hardware booths at an event, those days are moving forward and past GatherVerse. We believe that technology for good is an old way of thinking. we more so adopt and subscribe to the idea of technology for human sustainability. Why? Well, one, we can't look at these tools as getaways and ways for us to escape. We're not building the metaverse as a place to escape. We're using and building the metaverse as a tool to enhance this reality. The days of us looking that financial means would be the way for us to be able to explore further together. Well, we've seen a lot of heavy investments all but fail time and time again in pursuit of becoming a unicorn. But billions of dollars won't build the metaverse, and it won't build human sustainability. Humans build human sustainability. So I would lend to you and submit that I believe that over 1 billion hearts, then $1 billion. And at GatherVerse, we might be just that naive to pursue such ambitions. But our community is growing and it continues to grow. But we can't share this story alone. We produce and work so hard with a hardworking team to make these events happen, and we make it for free. We're not asking for your money. But what we are asking for is your community. What we are wanting to do is earn your trust that we can become a human brand, not a gaming engine, but a human engine to you in this new virtual economy that we're arriving to. We need somebody to share the story of what's happening here. We can't always share it ourselves. We need someone to tweet. We need someone to share on LinkedIn. We need someone to make comments in this chat box sensibly, to engage in the dialogue with us. We ask this from you with humble hearts and servant leadership. One of the most difficult things that I've found in my career is servant leadership, is to help guide towards a better way. I know incredible people that are building amazing things, and we celebrate their success of incredible hardware and disruptive technology. There really are people building amazing things when it comes to Web3 and NFTs. NFTs are bad. NFTs are good. I know many artists that have benefited from NFTs and many artists that unfortunately haven't. The arrival of Web3 isn't here as we think that it might be, but it's in transition of Web2 to Web3. But we've not arrived where we think that we've arrived. And so many of the platforms and the companies that I see out there that claim to be decentralized, they look a lot centralized to me. When we talk about the freedom and the liberty of expression and owning our data and privacy, those are real things and a mission that many of us embark upon and strive to be able to do. And there are incredible platforms that exist today and now that no one knows exist that are so for this. And so we went on a mission to scout and to search. And some of those people are going to join us in these 2 days to express what it is that they've built and that they're working on. But there's also wellness, which is part of the 7 standard focus that we look at when we talk about the 7 standards of the metaverse itself, being humanity first and accessibility, because what's the point of having Web3 in the metaverse if we don't know how to access it? Or when we talk about education, to better understand when we do come in contact and understanding the colloquial metaverse and Web3, what does that mean to the ones that are arriving and to the technologies that are building it? Are we on the same page? And then we talk about equality. I think that speaks in and of itself and for itself. And community development, which is at the heart of GatherVerse, because at the heart of the metaverse is community itself. And of the very fabric material in which GatherVerse is founded on and made is community. For our ecosystem is not built of hardware and software. Ecosystems aren't only solely hardware and software. Ecosystems are people. And then we look at safety and privacy and safeguards that must be in place when we talk about the dawning and arrival of Web3 and the metaverse. Safety and privacy are exceedingly high on our list of observance and better understanding what that actually means in this very accelerated era that we find ourselves in. There was a time where many governments would say that their local technology hubs were more advanced in technologies than their governments themselves. But what happens when the technology becomes more advanced than the technologist? What happens when the very thing that we create ourselves becomes more advanced than our own capabilities and reckoning of understanding ecologically? And then the seventh standard is wellness. Because if you don't have wellness, then you do not have a metaverse. So when we talk about Web3 and we talk about DAOs and DeFi, and we talk about an opportunity for true decentralization and community and human centricity, what exactly are we meaning when we say these things? Soon, we'll be entering into hyper-realistic immersive simulated environments. Soon, there will be buy, sell, and trade ecosystems within these virtual environments, a thing that was only considered libertarian considerations a time ago, which is now becoming a reality because there's now enough people to ingress and egress into these virtual environments where people can buy, sell, and trade within these virtual environments. And they're going to buy, sell, and trade with not fiat currencies, but cryptocurrencies, assets, altcoins, meme coins. What does that mean for fiat currencies of the rupee and the euro and the pound and the dollar, the yen? What happens when I now can go into a virtual environment and spend and use a crypto asset and I can actually buy a commodity? I can survey a farm myself and pay the farmer in crypto, and that my produce will arrive at my own door with such a given relationship. And when we're in these virtual environments, buying and selling, exchanging goods with our crypto assets, what about the regulation? What about the fostering of public and private sectors within these virtual environments that we may find ourselves in? Who writes the regulations in these virtual worlds when we start looking at Web3? Who will oversee this? Now, I know that we may think that it's for someone else to figure out, but if we as technologists are going to build it, then we must share in the responsibility of maintaining the integrity of the current disposition of Web3 and the ecosystems itself. Now, some may disagree with me, and they're certainly within their liberty to do it because we do exercise autonomy in the technology that we build. We do care for an open metaverse, a true open metaverse, not just a closed metaverse environment. We do absolutely agree on the same page of having autonomy when it comes to privacy and safety and owning our own data. Yes, we do. But social responsibility and impact, the need to be able to look at how can we leverage this technology to be able to address some of the common things that for so long we've seen, such as Pakistan, a third of it being underwater. We've never seen things like that before in a matter of days, with over 30 to 50 million people displaced. And what do we say of Ukraine and the war that's happening? How might this technology leverage that for good and better in the families that have been so devastated by what's happening? What does it say about care and compassion and everything that we build? Can't that be an essential ingredient and just as relevant as any hardware, a Raspberry Pi, an Arduino, and some gadget? What about human compassion? I'm not afraid of this journey, and I know that I'm not alone. There's so much to share, and we have even more great announcements that's coming in the weeks to come. But for now, we're getting ready to introduce you to several people that are coming up. We have a very special person that's getting ready to speak for a moment, and then we're moving on to our roundtable discussion and other talks. But here's what I ask of you now. Share the story. Tell somebody that there's a group of people today and tomorrow and the days to come that care about humanity first standards over the next unicorn. That there are those who want more for what we do and for what we build. And to our children and their children and future generations, that there was a group of people that really contended with what wasn't popular because they saw something further in the distance of what might happen if we don't begin to rally at this point in present time that we find ourselves in. I'm so grateful and thankful to be here with all of you and to share these moments together. We hope that you share your hearts and minds